Okay, it looks like we're live. I think we are. Yeah, we are indeed. We are indeed. Okie dokie. Da, 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 da. 1 second. Let me sort this out in the background. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Sort that out. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Yeah, just a quick one, man. I guess we'll be going live for maybe like an hour, something like that. Just a quick chat in regards to boxing. All things boxing. All things boxing. Whether we talk about the topic in the title or not, I've got no idea. But you've got to title these videos something, right? Okay. But yeah, big up to you guys, man. Hopefully you're doing well. Easter coming up, so we've got a long weekend in the UK, 4-day weekend, which is going to be nice. Yes, big up to Ronald Finkley in the house. Shout out to Ronald. Gloves Up Boxing. Naril as well. Big up to Naril. Hopefully you guys are doing well, man. So yeah, this weekend, obviously, Dillian White knocked out Alexander Povetkin in the 4th round, avenging his defeat. And one of the main talking points after that fight was Dillian White's next opponents. And one of the names that was mentioned, obviously, is Deontay Wilder. Now, me personally, I love that fight. You know, a lot of people out there are still clowning Deontay Wilder. And don't get me wrong, I understand why. All of the criticism is legitimate. But regardless of that, I still want to see this guy fight again. And for me, a fight with Dillian White would be amazing. The build-up to White versus Wilder, that would be crazy. The beef, the back and forth. And stylistically in the ring, you know, both of these guys are raw, defensively open, and they hit real hard. Somebody would get knocked the fuck out in that fight. To me, that's the fight that makes sense. Hopefully, the WBC order this fight as like some sort of eliminator, because that's the fight I want to see. I want to see Deontay Wilder versus Dillian White. That fight should have happened already, in my opinion. Great fight. Yes, big up to Gerard in the house as well. Salute to Gerard. I don't think so, Gloves Up Boxing. I think you'll have to find a live stream for that fight. Tim Tszyu versus, what's his name? Dennis Hogan. Yeah, Tim Tszyu versus Dennis Hogan. Yeah, I don't think he's got a UK TV deal, unfortunately. But a good little test for Tim Tszyu. You know, he's staying active. He's fighting decent guys. Good development fights. Tim Tszyu definitely a good prospect. OG Delboy, we tapped in. Big up to Levi Khan. Straight out of NYC. Big up to you, sir. Big up to you. And Naril says, can Billy Joe Saunders maintain his speed and elusiveness at 168? Any consequences for weighing in lower? Yeah, that's a good question. For me, Billy Joe Saunders at 168 doesn't seem quite as nimble. His reactions don't seem quite as quick as they used to at 160. I personally believe Billy Joe Saunders is really just a fat middleweight. I don't think he should really be at 168, quite frankly. He wasn't even a massive middleweight, Billy Joe Saunders. So, yeah, I think 168 to me doesn't suit Billy Joe. And maybe coming in a bit lighter, who knows, Naril, could actually be to his benefit. Because at 168 to me, he just doesn't look like the same fighter, you know? Just looks a bit slower, a bit more sluggish, not quite as speedy. But yeah, maybe he should come in a bit lower. Yes, big up to Eric Rosas in the chat. Salute to you, sir. Yeah, man, big up to Ronald, man, every time. Levi Khan, White should never have lost to Sasha in the first place. 40-plus years old, but he got back on track. Still stuck below world level. Yeah, to me, Dillian White is like maybe top. He's top 5 in this current heavyweight division, I would say, based on resume and whatnot. But I doubt that Dillian White can beat the likes of Fury, Joshua, even guys like Usyk. I would favor all of these guys over Dillian White. Maybe even Deontay Wilder, believe it or not. I see the Wilder fight as almost 50-50. But if you asked me to pick that fight, I'd probably lean towards Wilder still, believe it or not. Yeah, it's a good bit of matchmaking, Gerard. Dennis Hogan, defensively sound. He's awkward. He's tricky. It's a good bit of matchmaking for Tim Tszyu. a different style for him to contend with. Yeah, man, perfectly acceptable. Perfectly acceptable. Max says Billy Joe can't win. I tend to agree. He needs to win that fight decisively, like 10 rounds to 2, to stand any chance. Winning 7-5 on fans' cards is not going to be good enough against Canelo. Billy Joe needs to put on a career-best performance, levels above the performance he put in against Lemieux. I'm not sure whether he's capable of doing that, quite frankly. Gloves Up Boxing, White versus Bryan, Usyk versus Joyce, Hunter versus Hrgovic, Parker versus Chisora for a World Boxing Super Series. 3 of those fights happening. Yeah, I'd love to see a World Boxing Super Series at heavyweight. If we take out Joshua and Fury, I would love to see the best of the rest fight in a tournament, and then you would have a rightful challenger for Undisputed. That'd be a great idea. Yeah, exactly, Max. That's how I feel, bro. That's how I feel. Levi Khan, Zhu should take apart Dennis Hogan. The lack of world-level talent in Australia is apparent. Kambosos won't win a round against Teo. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. But Dennis is crafty. He's awkward. I think it's a good bit of matchmaking for Tim Zhu. It's a good development fight. A good development fight, in my opinion. You might as well clean out your domestic scene first before jumping to world level. That's what I say. Big up to Tony Boswell in the chat. Good afternoon, Blue Collar. Stopped in to show support, working and listening. Yes, big up to Tony every single time, man. Yeah, Tyrone McKenna's fighting this weekend on the Frampton undercard. Should be a decent scrap on paper. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's fighting the, I think the guys from Uzbekistan or Kazakhstan, the guy he's fighting. He's unbeaten, 24-0, so I'd imagine Tyrone McKenna loses that fight. Yeah, Donny Nietes on the Frampton card as well. Indeed he is. Indeed he is. Big up to Carlos Mendoza in the house. Salute to Carlos. Levi Khan, Mel Herring can't beat Frampton unless Carl is way past it. Man lost to Denis Shafikov. Come on now. Boxing in the army is noble, but it don't cut it. I'm not sure, bro. Carl Frampton is the favourite in that fight. I couldn't believe that. I really couldn't believe that. To me, Carl Frampton is not a super featherweight. He's far too small. He struggled with rangy guys in the past like Leo Santa Cruz. I could see Jamel Herring messing around and getting a points win in that fight, being awkward, being elusive. I could see him outboxing Carl Frampton. I don't think Carl Frampton belongs at 130, quite frankly. I think he's too small. He's too small. And in that fight with Josh Warrington, Frampton looked borderline past it, to be honest. So I can't imagine he's got any better in the 2 years since then. He's moving up in weight. He's 34 years old, had a much harder career than Jamel Herring. So I've got Jamel Herring, and I think those odds on Jamel Herring right now are looking real tempting. Real tempting. Yeah, exactly, Tins. No need to rush Zhu. Probably a couple more fights before world level. Yeah, I agree, Tins. See, I would say Dennis Hogan next, which is obviously he's fighting Dennis Hogan, then Michael Zarafa, and then maybe someone like Liam Smith. If he can beat all of those guys, then yeah, world level. Yes, beautiful weather in the UK for once. Yes, indeed, bro. Seen some hotties walking around in less clothes, which is always nice. Yeah, man, some sun out. Who can argue, man? We've got some Coke and rum right now. I don't usually drink in the week, but I thought I'd treat myself. Bit of Coke and rum. Lovely stuff, man. Lovely stuff. Jamaican rum. Of course, man. Beautiful. Levi Khan says Mel isn't good. Frampton is either way past his best or he'll beat Mel. You might be right. Listen, pound for pound, I say Carl is a better fighter, but I just think Jamel is too big, to be honest. Too big and too awkward. Mr. Relax, hi Del Boy. I don't think I'm being biased coming from Pompey, but Bellew said he had a draw until the last round of the McKinson fight. What was he watching? Yeah, I felt it was quite a competitive fight, Mr. Relax. It was competitive. It was nip and tuck all of the way through, but you always got the sense that McKinson was a step ahead kind of thing. I don't think there's any way that Chris Congo really had a case in that fight. But yeah, Michael McKinson really proved me wrong. I was expecting him to lose because I saw some of his previous fights and I really wasn't impressed. But he fought a good fight, man. Very awkward, very cagey, awkward southpaw. Yeah, he kind of frustrated Chris Kongo. Levi Khan, Jaron Ennis, UD12 over Lipinets. Can't stop the Russian, but he'll win convincingly. That's a good test, Levi. It's a good test for Jaron Ennis. I like that fight for him. We're going to find out a little more about Ennis, his power, his defense on the inside, because Lipinets is going to come to bring it. He'll keep on pressuring. So, good fight. Good fight. J-Dav, White Povetkin seemed levels below world class. Obviously, Povetkin is badly shot. White looked stiff-legged, poor balance, still vulnerable. Leagues below Fury, Joshua, maybe Wilder and Hrgovic. I think that's a fair assessment. I thought Dillian looked okay, to be honest, but he looked like the same old Dillian. Hard puncher, strong guy, got heart, etc. But the same flaws were still there with Dillian. I agree. And by the way, big up to G-Man Boxing. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Always appreciate the support. And if you've not checked out G-Man Boxing, click on his channel and hit subscribe. Very good channel, man. Very good channel. And one of the nicest guys on this whole YouTube scene, as far as I'm concerned. One of the nicest guys on this whole YouTube thing. G-Man Boxing. So big up to G-Man. Yeah, this is a good fight. Stanionis versus Delorme on the Ennis Lipinets undercard. I've got the Lithuanian to beat old Delorme, but upset, not inconceivable here. Yeah, I've got Stanionis as well. I actually think Stanionis will actually be a better Lithuanian welterweight than Kavaliauskas, believe it or not. I've not seen that card, Levi, to be honest with you. All I know is Conor Benn versus Samuel Vargas. That's all I know. Yeah, I felt Custio Clayton beat Sergey Lipinets. Crazy. I felt he won that fight. I can't lie. Oh, Joe Fournier's a clown, Levi Khan. I can't stand that dude. Hopefully the Colombian pop singer knocks him out. If Ben wins his next fight, who would you want him to in with? Hopefully Matchroom don't put him in with Avanesian. Sorry, I'll start that again. If Ben wins his next fight, who do you want to see him in with? Hopefully Matchroom don't put him in with Avanesian, rather Avanesian versus Virgil Ortiz Jr. Yeah, I think Michael McKinson for Conor Benn makes sense. Crafty southpaw, tricky boxer. That's a different style for Conor Benn. I think Michael McKinson's earned that fight now by beating Chris Kongo. He's 20-0. Why not? Yes, big up to Pound for Pound Boxing. Big up Dell. Who makes more of an impact? Andy Lee or Buddy McGirt? Chisora Parker. It's an interesting one. I quite like what I hear from Andy Lee. I think he's very well spoken. He clearly knows his boxing technically. I think Andy Lee could be a very good trainer, pound for pound boxing. I'm not really sure what Buddy McGirt does for Chisora stylistically. Buddy's a guy who, stereotypically always kind of gets his guys to box more. We saw that with Kovalev, even Arturo Gatti back in the day. He got these guys to box more. So I'm not really sure what Buddy McGirt can do for Chisora, if I'm being honest. Strange partnership, that. Bump of K, not going to lie, I'm well excited for Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. It'll be funny, man. It'll definitely be funny. I can tell you that much. Oh, yeah, Tony Harrison's going to beat Bryant Perella, yeah. That's going to be an easy fight, Levi. Yeah, G-Man, I would either go late stoppage or UD for Tim Tszyu. Good little test, in my opinion. Good little test. I wish that was on a Friday, though, or something, man. I'm sick of these Australian cards being in the middle of a week on a Wednesday, man. Crazy. Did Sasha Povetkin have half a pint of Russian vodka in the locker room? He was staggering his way to the ring. Yeah, he looked off, man, coming in. He looked a bit off. There's no doubt about it. He looked off. I think he's just an old man now, Povetkin. He's just an old man. He's a smaller heavyweight, 41 years old. Those smaller heavyweights don't really age as well as the bigger guys. Really, Povetkin's done very well to make it this far, given his style. So, yeah, Povetkin definitely passed it. But Dillian, Dillian still had to do a job, I guess. He still had to do a job, which he did. So, I've got to give Dillian credit in terms of, bouncing back from that first defeat. But yeah, Povetkin definitely wasn't the guy he once was. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Well, apparently, according to Bob Arum, there's going to be a massive pay-per-view fight for Terence Crawford next, and it's going to be announced this week. I'm very intrigued. I hope it's Sean Porter. You know, that would be a great fight. Sean Porter, Terence Crawford. I think everybody would be excited for that fight. You know, Sean Porter, Manny Pacquiao, Virgil Ortiz, you know, any one of these fights would be amazing for Terence Crawford. I've got a feeling it's going to be Sean Porter, to be honest, crazy. Gerard says, with how Parker looked against Farr, I'm giving Chisora a good chance in that fight. Yeah, he looked horrible, Gerard. Maybe that he's fighting Chisora, Parker's going to be more up for it. You know, because a loss in that fight basically ends Joseph Parker as a world level heavyweight. So I'd imagine he's going to be up for it, Joseph Parker. I at least hope so, because, yeah, based on that performance, he'll be in for a long night. Jiho Park, do you think White has better chances against Ruiz or Wilder? Do you know what? I think Ruiz is a horrible style matchup for Dillian White. You know, Dillian White likes to get involved way too much and exchange. When you're in the mid-range or on the inside, Ruiz is much more compact than Dillian White. He maintains good balance on offense and he's very compact with his punches. If those two guys exchanged on the inside or at mid-range, I think there's a very good chance Ruiz could catch Dillian White and maybe stop him. I think Ruiz is a real hard fight for Dillian, to be honest. I think he's got a better chance against Deontay Wilder. Even in that fight, though, I still think there's a very good chance Wilder lands a big shot and knocks out Dillian White. So they are both real hard fights for Dillian. Buddy McGirt, to my surprise, War Chisora with a defensive coach. Big up to Nordic Warrior. Salute to you, sir. Straight out of Glasgow, I believe. Big up to Nordic. Hopefully you're well, man. Trying to do something in the background here and I'm fucking failing at it. This is why I shouldn't multitask. My toxic masculinity is not enabling me to multitask. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. It's Jake Paul, Tommy Fury street fight. You know, I'll tell you what, I might go Jake Paul because he can do wrestling. I might take Jake Paul in that. I might take Jake Paul. I think Jake Paul can do wrestling. Or one of them can anyway. So I'll probably go Jake Paul in a street fight. Listen, man, I know these YouTube boxers, you know, it's kind of annoying, but Jake Paul can fight a bit. I've seen a lot worse guys in the gym who've had amateur fights. So Jake Paul can definitely fight a little bit. J-Dav, Congo's performance was strange to me. Couldn't change his style up once he was clearly behind on the cards. In the same position, Conor Benn would have gone for everything at the risk of looking crude. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he never really let it all hang out. Chris Congo, you're right. Yeah, I like Sean Porter. He's a class act. I agree. I agree with this, Mr. Relax. Fabio Wardley's a nice guy, but I can see him getting KO'd very soon. What does he have? Why does he have his hand so low for a heavyweight? Yeah, he relies on his reflexes for his defense, and we saw, you know, Eric Molina was able to take advantage of that. Anything above Eric Molina right now, I think is going to go horribly wrong. They need to hold back on the matchmaking for Fabio Wardley. The guy had no amateur fights. And fighting Eric Molina in your 11th fight, I know Eric Molina's shot and he was never really that great. But in context, when you've had no amateur fights, fighting Molina in your 11th fight is quite a big step up. I think they need to take Fabio Wardley back a couple of steps. Fight maybe Nick Webb next, I would say. I think Nick Webb would be the ideal opponent for Fabio Wardley. Buddy McGirt training Chisora is a terrible fit, in my opinion. Chisora needs a motivator and an animated figure like Teddy Atlas, for example, a kick up the butt in the corner. I totally agree, Nordic. I don't really see that partnership working. Like I say, Buddy McGirt stereotypically is one of those trainers who likes to make you box behind the jab, do the basics, you know, kind of thing. That's not really Chisora. He's a bull in the china shop. And you're right, I think someone like Teddy Atlas would be much better. Yeah, it's got to be Porter versus Bud next, as it was only finances in the way of it, and putting it on pay-per-view kind of solves that. Yeah, I agree. See, I think Porter Crawford's a great fight. And that's the fight I want to answer all of the question marks about Crawford at welterweight, because really, Terence looks great on the eye, but we don't really know him at welterweight. He's not beaten an elite welterweight, in my opinion. Sean Porter would be a massive test for Terence Crawford. I would go as far as saying Sean Porter is the best fighter he's fought, period, to be honest. Though you must consume soy and denounce your masculinity, then you can do anything. Ben Askren's going to fuck up Jake Paul. It's going to be enjoyable. Yo, the guy has no hands, though, Ben. He's got no hands. So, I don't know about that. Yeah, I would take Jake Paul in the street fight over Tommy Fury, no doubt. Yeah, he was an accomplished wrestler, yeah. And that can take you a long way in street fights, no doubt about it. I would watch Jake Paul and Ben Askren fight if they were both fighting Beterbiev on the same night. Can't argue, man. Yeah, I think that would be a great fight, bump of K. I would favour Terence Crawford. I think Crawford wins. But I see a lot of his fans say he's going to easily beat Sean Porter, knock him out. Nobody has an easy time with Sean Porter. Look at his losses. The Kell Brook loss, I don't care what anybody says, was a lot closer than people say. He arguably beat Keith Thurman. The Errol Spence fight was super close. The only thing separating those guys, in my opinion, was a knockdown. So to say Terence Crawford blows Sean Porter away is very optimistic, in my opinion. Very optimistic. Big up to James Nunn. Salute to James. Jiho Park says, I'm not sure what level Wardley is at. I think he gets beat by Jerry Forrest, for example, and I would favour Babic against him, to be honest. Yeah, it's hard to say, Jiho. It's really hard to say. I think, like I say, I think the Nick Webb fight would be ideal for Fabio Wardley in his next fight. The only thing is, though, this Babic-Webb fight won't happen because both guys are with Dillian White. It's not going to happen. Yeah, exactly, Eddie Hills. Yeah, Fabio Wardley, English champion, and he fought on a pay-per-view co-main event. Yep, shocking, indeed. See, it was Ted Cheeseman versus James Metcalf should have been co-main event. What a great fight that was, by the way. Ted Cheeseman, James Metcalf. Those guys fucking punched lumps out of each other. What a tremendous fight that was, man. Tremendous fight. Yes, big up to Vector04. Yeah, I'm really, well, providing it happens, I'll be very pleased. I'll be very excited as well for that fight. Be very excited. Filip Hrgović versus Murat Gassiev. I'd love to see it, man, but Filip Hrgović looks like he's fighting Michael Hunter next. I heard a bit of news, though, in regards to Gassiev. Apparently, he's sorting a promotional contract, so he should be returning soon in the heavyweight division, which will be good. Askren is tough, though. Fought real MMA champions. Paul's punches won't do shit. I'm not sure, man, to be honest with you. I kind of want to see Jake Paul lose, just for banter kind of thing, but we'll see. Some boxers would be great street fighters, others not so much. Yeah, I agree. Like someone like a Dillian White would definitely be a good street fighter. Obviously, he's had experience kickboxing, MMA. He's pretty well-rounded, Dillian White. I think he'd be a good street fighter. Someone like Beterbiev, for example, I think he'd be a pretty solid street fighter. There's guys out there who you'd like have back in your corner if you got into trouble. No doubt about it. Crazy. To me, Trevor Bryan looked pretty ordinary, to be honest. He's not, as far as I'm concerned, he's not a top 15 heavyweight. Kind of slow, fat, ponderous. He's got an okay jab, but he's average at best, Trevor Bryan. Funnily enough, though, crazy, that Bermane Stiverne fight against Trevor Bryan actually was quite fun for what it was. Wardley's performance was the oddest of the night. Did he always carry his hands that low? He also sounded high as fuck in his interview. Whole thing was strange, I thought. What was he doing? Yeah, he always carries his hands low. J-Dav, always. I think it's going to be Porter, Vector 04. I think it's going to be Porter. Can you imagine if they pulled it out their arse and said it was Errol Spence? How excited we'd be. Can you imagine? But I think it's going to be Sean Porter, which I like. No problem at all with that. Alan sparked Webb. Yep, he did indeed. Crawford has incredible timing, though. Wouldn't be surprised if he stopped him late. Yeah, if he stopped Sean Porter, it would still be a very competitive fight, and more than likely it would be late on. I just don't see Sean getting stopped by Terence Crawford. I don't see it. I really don't see it. Yeah, do you know what, Nordic? He can actually box a bit when he tries to box. He's got some ability, Ted Cheeseman, but he chooses to slug it out, which is obviously good for us fans. There's no doubt about it, but he can definitely box a bit, Ted Cheeseman. Ethan W. But when Terence Crawford fought Kell Brook, Kell was already damaged goods. He was never the same after Errol gave him that beating. Yeah. Exactly, yeah. Kell wasn't the same after the 2 back-to-back defeats to Golovkin and Spence. Watching Cheeseman fight makes me a bit uncomfortable for some reason. Incredible heart. Yeah, he's got a great heart. Great chin as well. Fun fighter. Listen, he's one of the only guys in boxing, yeah, who comes out of the ring prettier than he went in. He's so fucking ugly. When he takes a beating, he looks better for it. But yeah, big up to Ted Cheeseman. Big up to Ted. Big up to Christian Lewis in the house as well. Salute to Christian. Cheeseman's going to be Eddie's pay-per-view saver from now on. Listen, man, I've got no problem with Ted Cheeseman being on undercards if he's matched correctly. So, for example, next pay-per-view, let's say Joshua Fury, for example, Cheeseman versus Fowler on the undercard. I'm great with that. I'm fucking great with it. What does everybody think of Wasserman linking up with Sauerland? Will there be good cards in the UK? Yeah, that's interesting because Wasserman are a massive sports agency. They have like major NFL players, Premier League footballers. They're like a sports management company and they are backed by serious money. So that's a big link up for Sauerland. I think Wasserman have actually bought out Sauerland. And yeah, that's going to be interesting, bro. That's going to be very interesting. Yeah, Kiko Martinez on the streets. Yeah, he'd be a killer. Are you being serious, Unrivaled, or are you trolling? I think Billy Joe might outbox Canelo. I could see it for 4 or 5 rounds, no doubt, but over 12 rounds, I can't really see it, if I'm being honest. I just hope Billy Joe goes in there in good shape, fully prepared. That's all I'm hoping for, to be honest. He actually looks in good shape, though. I'll give him that. He does look in good shape, Billy Joe, according to his pictures. So let's hope he's been trolling this whole time. 1 second. Do you know what? I think I might have overdone it with this rum. Kind of fucking strong. I'm not going to lie. I've not drunk in ages, so I'm kind of feeling this. Frotch on the cobbles would have you back. Yeah, Marcus Maidana would be a great street fighter. Sakio Bika would too. Yep. Sakio Bika's fighting Nordic on Wednesday against Sam Solomon. Believe it or not. Vector thinks it's Manny Pacquiao for Terence Crawford next. Can you imagine? That'd be a great fight. Listen, all of these options: Pacquiao, Porter, Ortiz, man, these are all great fights for Terence. Yeah, do you know what, Geo Park? I cannot stand Anthony Fowler, but I actually think he'll beat Ted Cheeseman. I think Ted takes too many punches. And one thing about Fowler, I do think his power is somewhat legitimate. I think that guy actually hits quite hard. So I would take Anthony Fowler to beat Ted Cheeseman right now. I hope I'm wrong, though. I hope I'm wrong. Sean's too crude for Bud. Maybe. I think Sean's better than people give him credit for, though. He does certain things which people don't really give him credit for. Like his foot speed, Sean Porter's foot speed is incredibly quick, man. He closes the distance so fast, man. And he's got an underrated jab as well. A real underrated jab to get to the inside. Naril, Tommy Fury's a gypsy. He should be accustomed to street fighting. In my opinion, he beats Jake Paul in that situation. You could be right. You could be right. G-Man Boxing. Eric Pfeiffer versus Christopher Lovejoy. Winner fights the winner of Alan Webb 2 on pay-per-view. Yeah. Did you see Dave Allen call out Nick Webb after Nick Webb won this weekend? What a joke, man. I'll tell you what, if Nick Webb is in shape, I think he should beat Dave Allen in a rematch, if he's in shape. Eddie Hills thinks Spud would make Porter pay for every step he takes forwards. Maybe. Maybe. But who knows, man? If Terence can't get Sean's respect and he's finding it too easy to get to the inside, could be a very hard fight for Bud. Bump of K thinks Crawford is the best welterweight, just hasn't had the chance to prove it yet. Again, that's why I like that fight. We'll find out a lot more about Bud at welter. All I'm saying is Sean Porter is no Felix Diaz, Yuriorkis Gamboa, Victor Postal, Jeff Horn. Sean Porter is formidable at welterweight. The guy's, as far as I'm concerned, he's never been beat clearly, like not proper decisively. Nordic says, I don't think Crawford wants to fight Porter. He wants an easy fight and easy paydays to preserve his O for as long as possible. No ambition or desire. That's how I've been feeling for a long time, Nordic. But according to Bob, they are going to announce a big pay-per-view this week some point. So hopefully he's fighting Porter, Pacquiao, etc., etc. Big up to Lamb Chop. Del Savage as usual. Yeah, Eddie's only going to use Cheeseman for his week pay-per-views. Yeah, more than likely. Yeah, German boxing these days, Nordic. German boxing's in the gutter now, to be honest. Sorry, fucking I'm burping now. It really is in the gutter. It says something when Felix Sturm is coming back and he's still one of their biggest stars. Like, the German scene was always pretty strong for the most part. Like, they had some good world-level fighters. But now, man, who's Germany's best fighter? Ajit Kabayel? Vincent Feigenbutz? Like, it's looking real poor out there, man. Saunders looks like he's had some of Canelo's Mexican beef. I hope so. Yes, Arthur Abraham by your side in an alleyway brawl. Yeah, Arthur Abraham was ridiculously tough. Crazy tough. Great chin, man. Great chin. Wardley versus Niall Kennedy for the Pride of Ireland. Is Wardley Irish? Fabio Wardley. Is he Irish? He would fuck up Niall Kennedy though. Let's not laugh. He would fuck up Niall Kennedy. Okay, so it's a rubber match. Yeah, both guys are in their 40s now, man. And they're having a little 8-rounder on the undercard of Tim Tszyu, Dennis Hogan. I've got a lot of respect for Sakio Bika. That guy was as tough as nails, man. Great chin, Sakio Bika. Great chin. Got a lot of respect for him. Well, according to Bob, it's going to be a pay-per-view AA, so it has to be somebody decent. It can't be like fucking Josecito Lopez or anybody like that. It has to be somebody decent. So I'm thinking Sean Porter, or who knows, maybe Manny Pacquiao. But I'd imagine Sean Porter. Good fight, Tommy Hagler, yeah. Adam Smith mentioned Wardley versus Gorman. I doubt it happens despite different promoters, but I would back a half-fit Gorman to win. I think I would as well, Tommy Hagler. I back Gorman as well. He does, but he's not as relentless, XMB. He's not as relentless, not as strong. His feet certainly aren't as quick. I think Sean Porter's a lot better, to be honest. I think Sean Porter's a lot better. Alex Alberto, Thurman's an easy fight for Crawford. He gets stopped in 6. Yeah, I mean, listen, if Thurman's at his best, I think it's a hard fight, but I don't really have any faith in Keith Thurman now. He's been out of the ring for a while, a lot of injuries, coming off a loss. I can't really put any stock into Keith Thurman, so I'd be inclined to agree with you. I'd be inclined to agree. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. Faz Majarical. Sorry, man. I'm not great with pronunciations. Yeah, Caballero mostly fought as co-main event. Yeah, he is. Yeah, Gorman's got talent. Tommy Hagler just far too ill disciplined. Yeah, that's doable, LT. Because listen, those guys don't command massive purses. So imagine, yeah, Roman Gonzalez Estrada 3 and Rungvisai Quadras 2 on the same card would be amazing. I'm definitely going Tim Tszyu. It's whether he stops him or not. If he can stop Dennis Hogan, that's a statement because Dennis Hogan is tough at 154. He's very tough. He did, yeah. He gave Sakio Bika gave Calzaghe and Andre Ward real hard fights. Yeah, Sakio can look after himself, man. No doubt about it. He would fight anybody. Listen, man, he took Stevenson the distance at light heavyweight. And say what you want about Stevenson, but he could really, really punch. And listen, Sakio Bika took those shots, man. Tough guy, man. Tough guy. It's incredibly, incredibly tough. Yeah, he looks about 35-0, Eddie Hills, Nathan Gorman. I'm 26, yeah, and I would pass for his younger brother or younger relative. Like, he looks a lot older than me. Yeah, we saw that Tins, yeah. Sauerland linking up with Wasserman management, yeah, or Wasserman, however you say them. Could be interesting. See, this would be a great fight, you know, XMB 45. Nobody's talking about this, though. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Jaime Munguia. That would be pure violence because both guys are aggressive. Both guys throw a lot of punches. Both guys like to get up close. That would be a great fucking fight. Would be a great fight, XMB. I've not even thought about that fight myself. That's a great fight. I think I might favour Eubank, but listen, if he can't hurt Munguia, it's going to be a battle of the work rate at that point. Be a great fight. Yeah, I saw that, J-Dav. Yard and Callum Johnson back on April 24th card, apparently. If he was matchmaking Yard from here, what would you do with him? If I was matchmaking Anthony Yard, I mean, he's had his gimme fights, his bum fights, so I wouldn't step back too far now, to be honest. If I was managing Anthony Yard, I would have him fight somebody like Vladislav Shabransky next. Like, former world title challenger, but chinny, very open defensively. I think stylistically, he could actually make Yard look okay. He could walk onto shots and get knocked out. I would say Shabransky for Anthony Yard, believe it or not. I would say Shabransky. Because it's pointless going back to fighting the likes of fucking Dex Spellman now. It's pointless. He needs to get back in the mix now. Corman weighing in at 280 pounds and BT tweeting he was 820 pounds. Fucking dyslexia running their account. Laugh out loud. Yeah, that'd be a great fight, Jiho Park. If Zhu beats Hogan, do you think he'll be ready for the winner of Smith Kurbanov? I don't see why not. I don't see why not. He's talking about world titles soon. So if he's ready for world titles, he should be beating Liam Smith or Kurbanov. So yeah, I don't see why not. Would be a good fight. Would be a very good fight. Nathan Gorman trains at Grace. Tommy Hagler, Deontay Wilder sends White into orbit if he's mentally right, but it could be a decent fight while it lasts. Indeed. Would be a great fight, Tommy Hagler. People are saying all Dillian needs to do is walk down Deontay Wilder and he beats him. Don't get me wrong. If Dillian gets on Wilder's chest, I think he's got too much for Wilder. He's too strong, he hits too hard, etc., etc. But getting to the inside is no easy task, especially when you've got defense as sloppy as Dillian. Like, he's not got the same attributes as Tyson Fury to close the distance. He's not as big. He's not as strong. He's not defensively as sound. He doesn't have that feinting game that Tyson Fury had. He doesn't have a head movement. You know, he doesn't have that double jab to get on the inside. He literally has none of the tools that Tyson Fury used on Wilder to back him up. You know, Dillian White himself is very raw. Makes a lot of mistakes defensively. I could easily see him walking onto a right hand and getting knocked out. Don't get me wrong, he can beat Deontay, but to say that's a foregone conclusion. I've seen a lot of people say Dillian easily beats Wilder. Listen, we can criticize Wilder all we like, but stylistically, in my opinion, that's a hard fight to call. I really do believe that. I think that's a hard fight to call. Wizard Sleeve, Josh Taylor beats them all. I believe so at 140. But having said that, Ramirez is not going to be an easy fight. And if he sticks around at 140, don't forget about Jose Cepeda, real underrated fighter. By the way, lads, if you could smash the like, it would be much appreciated. Alex Alberto. I think Mikey might beat Manny Pacquiao if he's at his very best. What do you think? Listen, I think Manny would have to have aged quite a lot more since the Furman fight. But, ultimately, Manny's at that age now where he could age overnight. It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. But I wouldn't necessarily predict that, though, either, to be honest. But I wouldn't be shocked. Yeah, could be a good. That'd be a good shout. Bump of K. Estrada Gonzalez 3 on the Fury Joshua card. That'd be amazing. Yeah, Jack Kolkai was a good German fighter. Yeah, I agree, Tommy. I think Josh Taylor is the pound for pound best British fighter. To be honest, George C. Gorman looks old and like an overgrown baby at the same time. Oh dear. Yeah, that's going to be a good fight, LT. Akhmadaliev is very exciting. Two-handed puncher. He's aggressive. He hits hard. And Awasa's quite aggressive himself, so that's going to be a good fight. Bump of K, he reckons Eubank would stop Munguia. I think Munguia's got a real good chin. I think Munguia's going to be hard to stop. I really do. Cunt. I still want to see this fight, Tommy Hagler. Callum Johnson, Joe Smith Jr. Guaranteed knockout. I want to see that fight. I would favour Joe Smith Jr. though. I think Joe's come on a long way. Yard is just a gimmick. He has no boxing skills at all. I think he's got athletic ability, Nordic, Anthony Yard. I think if a better trainer got hold of him earlier on, he could have done a lot more. Because you've got to bear in mind, he started boxing quite late. He had like 12 amateur fights. Considering that he's okay, but he should have developed a lot more. He's learned nothing since the Kovalev fight. Maybe that's down to him, but maybe that's down to his coaching. I don't know. But I do believe there is some talent there. Dying to see Beterbiev versus Canelo predictions. I would favour Beterbiev if there's no hijinks with the weight and whatnot. I would favour Beterbiev. But you're asking the wrong person, man. I'm biased. Now that Akole's world champion, who do you think is the best UK prospect? Laugh out loud. That's a hard one. Because I don't think there's many like super high level prospects in the UK. Dennis McCann looks useful with Frank Warren. He looks quite useful. I do like Boazzi, but he's got a lot of work to do. I quite like that Dalton Smith, the Matchroom guy. He looks like a good prospect. There's a few, but there's nobody like who I'm looking at and saying, wow, he's definitely going to be a world champion. I'll be honest. Warren has seen Dubois, Yard, and now Willie Hutchinson gets sparked out. What's he got left? Dennis McCann, he underwhelmed in his last two outings. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Frank's kind of struggling right now. Good old Frankie boy. Old Frankie boy actually seems to be losing his touch in regards to matchmaking. Oh, you serious, Bump of K? Athletic just said Pacquiao versus Bud in Saudi Arabia. Wow. Are you serious? Yo, that'd be a sick fight, man. Crawford Pacquiao in Saudi Arabia. Let's get it, man. If that's the case, man, I'm sound. I'm good with that. Speaking of Eubank, he should fight 2 more times this year. If he's not getting a big fight at this point, I'll take Quigley and then Brandt. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, I don't see why I don't see why Eubank isn't going for the Japanese dude Murata. I think that's a good fight for him. It's a winnable fight. It's not an easy fight, but it's winnable. JDav, White has been buzzed or dropped by everybody he fought since Joshua, including Whack. Wilder gets to him. Yeah. Listen, it's a good point. I mentioned this before the Povetkin fight, the rematch. Look at his last few fights. He got buzzed badly by Hellenius. He got rocked to his boots by Chisora in both fights. He got badly hurt by Joseph Parker and dropped. He got dropped by Rivas. He got buzzed by Marius Whack. He got knocked out against Povetkin. That's what I'm saying, though. I'm shocked to see people say White easily beats Wilder. I don't see it. I think that's a risky fight. Very risky fight. Exactly, Eric. Yeah, White and Wilder both make mistakes. Whoever lands first probably wins that one. It'll be fun to watch. Exactly, bro. Good shout. Yeah. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Gorman should link up with Ben Davison. He needs a cheerleader along with a weight loss camp. Yep. Manny at his prime stops Crawford. I would agree. Exactly, Nordic. Smash the like, troops. Yes, sir. Wilder's never beat anybody half decent and never will. Yeah, his resume is lacking. I do give him credit for Luis Ortiz, the first fight, Wizard Sleeve. I know it's like people say Luis Ortiz is old, he's shit. But at the time, like a lot of people were picking Luis Ortiz. People forget that. A lot of people were picking Luis Ortiz to beat Wilder. So I give him credit for the first Ortiz fight. That was genuinely a good win. And a lot of people in boxing felt quite highly on Luis Ortiz, including Vladimir Klitschko, by the way. Even he was saying how good Ortiz was. So I give Wilder credit for beating Ortiz, but that's really it, to be honest. That's really it. Okay, so Coppinger just tweeted Pacquiao Crawford possible for Abu Dhabi in June. Good. Great news. Great fight. Oh, that's good to hear, Jiho Park. Yeah, Danny Jacobs reunited with Andre Rozier, which I think is a good move. I hope we see him in with John Ryder. Would be a very solid fight. Yeah, great fight. Yeah, I think Rozier's the best fit for Danny Jacobs. He looked poor in his last fight without Rozier. Oh yeah, Vector. Of course, man. He's got a puncher's chance. He hits with both hands very hard. He's aggressive. He'll take the chances. So listen, Joe Smith certainly has a puncher's chance in that fight. He's definitely the underdog. But would I be shocked if Joe Smith knocks out Beterbiev? Absolutely not. And I say that as a guy whose favourite fighter is Beterbiev. But it wouldn't shock me. Wouldn't shock me at all. James Hart, White is my favourite fighter, period, but I just don't see him beating Wilder. White's chin isn't amazing. He doesn't move his head enough, and his feet are so much slower than Wilder's. Also 6'7" versus 6'4". Yep. See, I think that's a great fight. I think that's a great fight, James. I think that's a great fight. Oh, come on, man. Carrillo Hernandez, come on, man. You can say what you want in the chat, bro, but like allow that sort of shit, because I don't like blocking people, but you know what YouTube's like. You lot can say anything like within reason. You can cuss each other out, that's fine, but just chill a little bit, man. Chill. Thoughts on Campbell Hatton? Not impressed. Not impressed. I've literally seen guys at the gym who have got better technique. He's very raw, to be honest. Should have stayed amateur a couple more years. A bump of K. Dillion's only 6'4" with his old mohawk. Yeah, he's definitely not 6'4". He's barely taller than he's barely taller than Povetkin. He's like 6'3" at a push. 6'3" at a push. Okay, no deal yet for Crawford Pacquiao. Okay. Let me have a look. Let me go on box. It's nothing on boxing scene, is there? Have a look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. I think on boxing scene yet. Interestingly enough, though, boxing scene, Hunter versus Hrgovic, IBF title eliminator set for April 6th purse bid hearing. So Hunter Hrgovic going to purse bids, great fight. Rigon Diao says he's eager to face John Riel Casemiro, good fight. Yeah, man, I want these fights, man. Some good fights. Andy Ruiz is playing the depression angle, like a lot of fighters do now. Andy Ruiz was 310 pounds, had depression after Joshua loss. Now I'm ready to get my belts back. Listen, man, that's a new theme in boxing. Some guy loses, he blames it on depression. You notice that? It's crazy, man. That's like that is such a convenient get out clause for anybody in life now when they fuck up. Oh, I had depression. Like completely devoids yourself of any responsibility. They completely use that, man. They use that way too much. People in general use that way too much. I understand it's a real thing, but some people take the piss, to be honest with you. Fury sucks, bum squad even more. See, I'm not that whole Joshua Fury thing. I don't have a dog in that fight. I really don't. I don't really care who wins. I just want to see it happen, bro. Big up to Faust in the building. Salute to Faust. Damn, Hashman doesn't think Crawford stops him in his prime. Sorry, Hashman doesn't think Manny stops Crawford in his prime. I think he might, I think he might stop him late on. It wouldn't be early. I would say late on. If Wilder doesn't come out of his hiatus in time to fight Ruiz this year, Ruiz against Ortiz would be a good scrap. I'd pick Ortiz to TKO him, though. Yeah, I agree. I'd watch it. Be a decent fight. He's gone, man. He's gone. Like I say, man, people can say pretty much anything in this chat, unless I've got to ban you. You know what I'm talking about, but you can say pretty much anything in the chat. But yeah, that's true. I need to give a few people wrenches. I took loads away because I don't want to be one of those channels who bans every other cunt for having a different opinion, kind of thing. But I'll definitely hand some wrenches out quite soon, no doubt. No doubt. The trustworthy ones, the OGs. Nordic Warrior, I had depression. That's why I'm not the goat. Sorry. That's true, Crazy D3. But Andy Ruiz has always been a fat cunt, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's just ill discipline. He didn't look depressed after he beat Joshua. I'll tell you that much. I mean, the reason he lost that fight was because he was ill disciplined. Maybe after that he was depressed. Yeah, cool, but like it's self-inflicted. There's a difference between situational depression, which we all go through when something bad happens, and like chronic depression or genuine mental illness. There's a big difference. But yeah, definitely the 90s. Yeah. Yep. Theo Williamson in here trolling, man. Get out of here, son. I won't block you. I won't block you. Yeah, victim mentality. People always looking for a way not to take responsibility. Yeah, exactly. You see that a lot in today's day and age. Not just boxing, but like people in general. People in general. Yep, great fight, Gerard. Hopefully it gets finalised. See, that's what we want from Crawford. We want to see him in those sort of fights. Pacquiao, Porter, Ortiz. Fingers crossed, Spence and down the line. Errol Spence, sorry, down the line. No, that's fair, Toby, man. I mean, it's totally fair. I can see why. I can see why. It's hard to, it's hard to stay positive. We heard about the contracts being signed 2 weeks ago now. No real progress since then. So, yeah, I can see why, man. I can see why. By the way, lads, smash for like, be much appreciated. Always helps us out, man, when you smash for like. Ruiz, I had depression, aka KFC. Yeah, I think a lot of people just lost a lot of faith in Crawford, to be honest. But yeah, now it looks like that fight's going to happen. So we'll see now. We'll see where both guys are at. It's a great fight, though. It's a great fight, man. Oh, no doubt. Mental health doesn't mean you're mentally weak. Look at Fury. He's now champion and mentally solid in the ring. Yeah, that's true. My thing, it wasn't necessarily about that. I just think it's a way for people to like relieve themselves of responsibility when they mess up. If they say, oh, this happened because mental health, then it's basically a get out of jail free card in 2021. That's my theory behind it. I think a lot of people use it way too much. And a lot of people also in popular culture, whether it be sport, music, actors, etc., a lot of these people kind of use that as a way to sell products and sell whatever. They'll use mental health. They'll basically monetize mental health. You see a lot of people doing that. Play the sympathy vote for a few quid kind of thing. And to me, I just find that extremely distasteful, honestly. You literally see it with YouTubers as well, like fake the mental health angle kind of thing. It's sad, man, honestly. It's so fucking sad, and people fall for it, which I find crazy. People fall for it. Maybe I'm just a cunt, though. Who knows? Maybe I'm just a cold-hearted cunt. I don't know. If this is a good Pacquiao that possibly start again. If this is a good Pacquiao that comes possibly the one that fought Thurman, he's knocking Bud out. Maybe. Exactly. Depression is a state of mind, means it can be changed. Clinical depression is built in. Yep. See, when something bad happens, in my life, I'll never say it's depression. Let's say something bad personally happens, I'll be upset, I'll be sad, but I'll never say, oh, I'm depressed, I'm this, I'm that. I've still got to get on with life. You know what I mean? I've still got to do my thing. So I don't let it stop me, kind of thing. I can't let you can't let that sort of thing stop you. Obviously, I feel for people who are like clinically depressed and they have genuine mental health disorders. That's totally different. But I think a lot of it in the 21st century is people are just too weak to deal with like struggle kind of thing. They'll capitulate at the first hurdle of any like adversity. A lot of people are like that now. People are too comfortable, in my opinion. People are far too comfortable. Just how I see it, man. But I could be wrong, man. I've just got my opinions on the world. Yeah, victimhood is the worst. You gain nothing from victimhood. Well, you do now, the 90s. You do, because you can monetize it. Like I was saying, like celebrities, etc. They monetize this sort of thing to get to the next level and get sympathy money. YouTubers do it. So you can... there's a market for it, unfortunately. I've got Marvin Vittori, Brandon Blanco. At least I hope so. I'm not a big fan of Darren Till. I can't lie. Yeah, smash for like, you tight fuckers. Yes, sir. Big up to Gerard. Listen, I hope he would. I hope he would fight Ortiz. I can't stand Fury's chat about depression, like he's heard a few key words and just parrots them. I'm sure he was hands down drinking and sorry, I'm sure he was down and drinking too much, but I don't believe he suffers from genuine depression. See, I'm not sure with Tyson Fury. He's definitely tapped in the head to some degree, but again, it was convenient when it took place. If you catch my drift, what was going on in his career with like PEDs and whatnot, it was convenient when it took place. That's all I'll say with Tyson Fury. Hello, in case anybody was wondering what happened to my Twitter account, I left and I'm on a vacation. I'm trying to ignore the app right now, and I'll serve the rest of my Abby bets when I'm back. Big up to Intangible. Yeah, I saw your profile picture, Intangible. Yeah, you definitely got the worst end of the stick there. Pacquiao gets knocked out by Crawford. It could happen now. He's 42. Could definitely happen. Hopefully, it's the end for Eric Molina. Hopefully, man. Guy's fucking shot to bits. Shot to bits, man. Yeah, I think so as well. This is it, JDav. The depression fad is disrespectful to people with genuine clinical challenges, emotional incontinence. Yeah, how many times do you hear people say, I'm depressed, I can't do this, I can't do that, when these people have never been tested, they've never had any diagnosis or anything. It's just a convenient way to get out of responsibility for a lot of people. Whether that is like conscious what they're doing or subconscious, I don't know. But like, it makes me cringe when like grown men, like, I don't know, man. Like, as bad as I felt if something bad was happening, I would never like pour my heart out to you guys or fucking on social media. Never, bro. I'll deal with it myself, man. It's the way I've always done it. I was having this discussion the other day in regards to mental health. Like, as kids, even when I was growing up, I'm 26 now. Even when I was growing up, we was told that it's okay for a boy to share their emotions with the world. And as a young kid, I did that a few times. And every single time, what I noticed was I felt like shit afterwards. I felt like total shit. I felt like almost like it feels like you've given up a piece of yourself kind of thing. And I hated that feeling. Dealing with things now, I'm much more stoic with it. I'll keep it internalized and just progress with life the best way I can, basically. And I find that much more beneficial than sharing my problems with the world and all this shit. I feel much better being stoic and keeping things to myself and trying to progress that way. I believe there's a lot of validity in the saying, boys don't cry. Obviously now that saying is fucking toxic masculinity, but there's a reason why, people used to say that, boys don't cry. You're supposed to remain stoic and strong in the face of adversity. Everybody feels anxious. Everybody gets scared. It's what you do when you encounter those emotions, kind of thing. Like, the best example is, let's say you got a wife and kids. You hear somebody break into your house. Of course, you're going to be scared. You're going to be anxious, etc. But a true man suppresses those fears and protects his family, right? And that's the way you've got to look at every problem in life. Suppress those emotions and deal with that situation the best way you can. That's how I try and approach life now. When I was younger, I kind of bought into this whole thing. Boys, it's okay to share their emotions and shit. But I never felt any better for doing it. And it's funny because we live in an age now where men's mental health is more discussed than ever before, yet suicide rates are climbing like by the dozen. Like, mental health care for men is supposed to be better, but the stats don't indicate that. And I wonder whether men have been sold a complete lie in regards to mental health. Stripping responsibility strips you of your masculinity, as far as I'm concerned. But what the fuck do I know? What the fuck do I know? These are just my tin pot theories on the world. But yeah. Exactly, Nordic. Yeah, I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm just giving you my opinion on the situation. That's all, and my experiences. I'm not making light of it, but exactly, Niril. Exactly. Yep, I agree. See, the thing is, though, you can't talk about this on YouTube and without getting fucking striked or banned or something. So, yeah, I like Dennis McCann. He's a good prospect, Ben. He's a good prospect. Yeah, good sleep, good clean diet, and focus in a life with exercise will get rid of depression. Don't overdo anything in life. Everything is a balance. Yeah. But again, I just have my opinions on the world. I'm open to talk to anybody if they have problems. Anybody's free to talk to me and whatnot, but I'm just giving you my 2 cents on the world. Yeah, people need to embrace struggle as obstacles will always be in your way in life. Rise above it, and your character grows and gets genuine depth. Yes, sir. Start pumping up in the gym, I guess, right? Coke, booze, and roids will definitely make you depressed. Yep. I saw that picture, intangible. David Copperfield, Fabio Wardley, Mr. Hanslow looks like he should go to Adam Booth. Oh dear. Indeed, JDab, yeah. Yeah, lack of male role models. So I'll start again. Lack of true male role models are contributing to the downfall of the West. Yeah, a lot of single parent families in the West now as well. Like the nuclear families being like just destroyed, and they're not holding themselves together. And as a result, you're going to get a lot more degenerates in society. Obviously single parents can do a great job, but when you look at prison statistics across the board, across every demographic, most men in prison are from like a single parent family with a lack of a father figure, and that shit is fucking so fucking detrimental to society. Exactly, Brandon. Yeah, I guess it's down to the individual. I can only speak from my own personal experiences. I guess it's down to the individual, but whatever works for you ultimately is what you should always do. There's no when it comes to life for me. There's no like people sometimes look at life with like a square peg round hole type of ideology. Different things work for different people at the end of the day. Yeah, men becoming women and women becoming men. Yep. That is a big problem. Men's testosterone levels go down every generation. The feminization of men is a big problem. Yep. It's not just some like fucking meme talking point. Oh, men are more feminized now. It's true. It's statistically true. Coogan has bent legs. Uh, yes, Tony Boswell. Look, I did time twice, lost it all. It's a mindset. I have nice things I earned the hard way. Best to keep any negative away from yourself. Yeah, exactly, Tony. Exactly, 100%. Surround yourself also with as many positive people as possible. People who have genuinely got your back. People who you can, yeah, no doubt. Too many Starbucks cookie eating soy boys. Oh dear. Yeah, I've got to be really careful with YouTube, man, because one of my live streams got taken down the other day. I never got a strike for it. It just got taken from YouTube because I spoke about what's going on in the world right now for like 2 minutes and it got taken down. But I didn't get any strike or anything like that. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened there, but whatever. It is what it is. YouTube being YouTube. It's not for the individual anymore. YouTube is for, like, we know what it's for now, corporations and whatnot, but whatever, it is what it is. Chisora Parker headliner pay-per-view, yes, it's bad. Listen, Tommy, if that had a stacked undercard, I could accept it, but the undercard is poor. Really poor. No, it's got to be O'Hara. It's got to be O'Hara. Yeah, they should put Webb. Yeah, I agree, Nathan. Nick Webb against Fabio Wardley. Yeah, that makes sense for me. Did you hear that YouTube are removing the dislike button? Are you serious, Nordic? That's actually a bad thing for creators, because when people dislike your video, it's actually an interaction. It's actually a bad thing, you know. I'd rather get, so let's say, for example, I'd rather get a video with 20 likes and 1 dislike than a video with 20 likes, because it's one more interaction. They count basically as the same in the algorithm, believe it or not. See, people can't even handle getting dislikes now without crying. Is that what it is? Whatever, man. Jesus Christ. Yeah, dislikes are better than indifference. Yeah, 100%, bro. 100%. Like, you can hide likes and shit anyway. Like, you can hide all that shit. So I don't know why they're removing it. What's next for Lennox Clark? I'd like to see him rematch, what's his face? Lerone Richards. That was a close fight. Very close fight. But yeah, I was glad that Lennox Clark beat fucking Willie Hutchinson. That Willie Hutchinson guy kind of rubbed me up the wrong way for whatever reason. Just reminds me of one of those little smart-ass kids at school. You know, the smart-ass kids who they'd talk shit, and when he was going to do something about it, they'd tell the teacher. He reminds me of one of those kids. Little mug kind of thing. I think it's down to just people these days being so soft they can't take a couple of dislikes, man. It hurts their feelings. Probably to do with that. But G-Man loves it. G-Man pops straight in for that one. Oh, dear. And again, by the way, check out G-Man's channel. Real good stuff, man. Real good stuff. Yeah, that's a good fight. Lennox Clark versus Zach Chelly. Yeah, very good fight. Very good fight. I'm going to check something quick, actually, in regards to this video's analytics. I want to see how militant YouTube are, because I've spoken about mental health. So have they how do you find it? How do you find it? How do you find it? Fuck, 1 second. I forget where to find it. Where the fuck do you find it? They've not demonetized it yet. There you go. Yeah, I also enjoyed Willie Hutchinson getting sprawled out. Yeah, that guy's a clown. Yep, glad to see Zepeda back. Nathan. Yeah, Campo was supposed to fight Broner, yeah. So he can't be that great as Broner's comeback opponent. So yeah, Zepeda will win that fight. But good to see him back. Oh yeah, the 90s. They're all puppets, though, in some degree. They're all puppets, man. I don't really buy into this whole left wing, right wing thing anymore. Or just fucking two different sides of the same coin. At the end of the day, especially like after what's been going on in the world now, like I've totally kind of realised the whole left right paradigm thing's a complete waste of time. It really is. Again, I'm not going to get into it because you know what YouTube's like, but it's a complete waste of time. All politics is a fucking theatre. It's a theatre for the masses, man. That's all it is. None of these people have any real power anyway. Yeah, YouTube's really weird, Nordic. Like, for whatever reason, I seem to get away with swearing, like in my regular videos. If I swear, they still remain monetized for some reason. Whereas most people always complain that theirs get demonetized. Maybe it's because I don't speak clearly or something. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's because of my pristine English accent. I don't know. But I don't get fucking demonetized for swearing. Tone, I disliked this video. Oh, dear. Yeah, Dominguez's taking L's recently. Yeah, indeed he is. Indeed he is. He's going to have to fucking release another single if another fighter gets knocked out. Yeah, politics is WWE. Yep. Domingo, aka Flex Wheeler. Right said Fred, looking fucking idiot, man. Yes, what you talk about more so with YouTube. Like at the start of a pandemic, when I made a few comments, like I got fucking a lot demonetized. Even like I got a lot demonetized. Got to be real careful with YouTube these days, man. I miss YouTube from like 2011. I think that's when YouTube was at its best. 2011, 2012 kind of thing. 2013 onwards, it kind of started to go downhill, just became more corporate. Certain channels get pushed in the algorithm. And that's what it is, man. But whatever, man. Domingo, aka Right Said Fred. Yeah, that'll be next, the 90s. Yeah, Kelly Maloney OnlyFans. Yeah. I'll tell you what, if we get to 5K, I might fucking make one. Make a fucking OnlyFans talking about fucking boxing. It's always a way for Nordic Warrior. It's always a way, man. If I spoke about Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury every other video, maybe the channel would grow. But fuck it, I've just not got the fucking motivation to do it. Because I've done a few experiments on YouTube with certain videos, and certain videos definitely do better than others. Like there's a video I made a long time ago about Luis Ortiz. When Luis Ortiz turned down the Joshua fight, I forgot what I titled the video. It was like something like Luis Ortiz is like an Al Heyman slave or something like that. And that video got fucking decent views. It got like 2K views, and like I got so many subscribers from it. Like certain titles, if you put like provocative titles out there, it definitely does work. But I've never really felt right doing it, kind of thing. I feel kind of dirty. But I've done a few experiments now and again, and usually they land. But go for it, go for it, Nordic. I can eat on camera and do mukbangs. Yeah, that's a thing, Nordic. That's all you got to do, really. But I'll keep on doing what I'm doing. I like doing what I'm doing right now. Whenever I get bored of it, that's when I'll stop. But I genuinely love boxing. But a lot of people still think boxing is real. There's certain fights, man, that I just can't get into. Mainly Canelo, but Yeah, I remember those videos, Lewis. I remember those videos. Salute to Hawker Mustang, one of the OGs on YouTube. Hawker Mustang. I see Hawker Mustang's comments on videos from like 10 years ago, man. Madness. Hawker Mustang was out here making comments when I was still at school, like 11 years ago now. That's another fucked up thing. 11 years ago in June, I left school. That's crazy. Yeah, that's a good fight, LT. Well, no, MMA champ said it first. Yeah, Nakatani Lomachenko, very good fight. Nakatani's a big dude, 6 foot lightweight. He can punch a bit. He's relentless. He's durable. That's not an easy fight. That's not an easy fight. I think that's going to be a hard fight for Lomachenko. I'd go Loma on points, but I think that's a hard fight. Especially the fact now Loma's coming off a loss, coming off a layoff. He's now picking up injuries. Nakatani's not an easy fight. Yeah, Tony Bellew thought, yeah, Craig Glover was the next big thing, laugh out loud. Man, some of these people in boxing can't spot talent whatsoever. Like one of his other prospects lost as well to Kane Baker. I forgot his name, but he lost to Craig Baker. And Bellew was saying how good this guy is. Yeah, it's a good fight, LT. I've got Ryan Garcia, probably by late knockout, MMA champ. It's a good fight, though. It's a good fight. Johnny Nelson's pumping Kirsty Gallagher. Must have chose her over Anna Woolhouse. Yeah. See, I'm not a big fan of Anna Woolhouse. She's too, there's not enough meat on the bones, to be honest. It'd be like fucking shagging a fucking bit of plyboard or something like that. Just too flat for my liking. Too flat. I'd give it a go, though. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a picky man. I'm not like I don't judge, but I'd give it a go, but she's not my type. She's too sporty. I don't like the sporty looking chicks who are like proper toned and skinny. Not my thing. Not my jazz. And yeah, I'll choose Kirsty over fucking Anna. I carry power. But yeah, Kirsty's a certified MILF. There's no doubt about it. Fair play to Johnny Nelson. Well, apparently, according to fucking Mike Coppinger, it's being looked at for June, Hawker, in Saudi Arabia. Not Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, somewhere out there anyway. Yeah, apparently it's looking likely June 5th. So it could be closer than we think. Dear. Yeah, I agree, Nathan. She's not my thing, Anna Woolhouse. She reminds me of this chick called Shannon. She was like proper fucking tall. She's like 5'9" or something. And I used to get with her, and she had that sort of body as well, man. Like proper like toned and fucking skinny and that. Still, she was all right in that, but it's not my scene usually. Not my scene. Maybe Johnny's tired of the BJ signals. Yeah. It's not, yeah, I know what you mean, Nordic. I remember spending the whole geography class obsessing over the Mayweather Hatton fight. Zero geography was done. Yep. I remember that fight at the time. I was in year 9 in upper school. So that was when I was 13? I was 13 when that fight happened, Mayweather Hatton, and everybody was gassed that Hatton was going to win. And I was like, nah, I saw this at 13. Mayweather's going to win that fight, man. I knew that then, and all these Hatton fans in the class were so fucking excited. It's crazy, man. I love the build up for that fight though. At the time, it was sick. You and Anna Woolhouse both too skinny. You'd start a fire. That's what I'm saying, man. I need some cushion for the pushing, Tone. You know how it is, man. So cushion for the pushing. That's what I need. Anna's not gonna do. Yeah, she's not the most well. She's not the most well read on boxing. Anna Warhouse, not the most well read on boxing. She was a chav as well. Nordic. She was a chav. She was from fucking Stevenage, man. Like proper chav. She was nice in that, but yeah, a bit rough around the edges. Decent enough looking, like when she made herself up. She's one of those types. You know what I mean? Like she's like an 8, 7.5 with makeup kind of thing. One of those ones. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Tommy Hagler, I'd agree with that. Yeah, Jonas is definitely better. See, I'm not a fan of female, as you know, I'm not a fan of female boxing whatsoever. But I heard Natasha Jonas on commentary on the Zone, and she barely spoke. But when she spoke, she actually fucking gave some good technical analysis on the fight. She was talking about, I forgot what fight it was, but she was actually making some good points. To be fair to her. Yeah, they did. Yeah, I remember. I remember that as well. Yeah, because that fight was either on my birthday. I forgot what date that fight was on, but it was either I think it was just before my birthday. That fight, Nordic. It was in May. I think it might have been like the day before my birthday. My birthday's May 5th, so that fight was super close to my birthday. Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Tommy Hagler, not levels, man, levels. Yeah, she's nice. What's her name? Jordan Hardy, I think her name is. So yeah, Chav is like kind of like a working class type of person in a sense, like kind of like low grade kind of thing. Yeah, it's kind of like just a low class individual. Society's rejects, as Time Booth would say. Yeah, that's the one. Jiho Park. Yep, that's the one. Yeah, Shannon Courtney. Yeah, she's a good example of a chav, Nathan, 100%. Basically, yeah, it's like trailer trash UK equivalent. That's a good way to describe it. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Yeah, because like the stereotype is like people from council houses are scum. It's not always the case, man. I grew up fucking broke as fuck, so but it's not always the case. But that's the stereotype. Like council house, you're basically a terror kind of thing. But yeah, low social status. Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. Anybody got those Z Gemma satellite boxes, lads? Fucking best £215 I've ever spent. Yeah, I'm looking. I've been looking at those Gerard, those sort of boxes. Chavs have a status of a plum. I don't want to say all people from council houses are chavs because they don't. They're not all chavs. It's not about, to me, it's not about means per se. Like it's not about your financial status. It's how you act, kind of thing. It's how you carry yourself more than anything. It's not about financial status. It's how you carry yourself. Because I grew up fucking broke as a fucking joke. Like my parents kind of never owned their house, like always kind of struggled to pay rent. My dad was self-employed. He was a fucking decorator. And yeah, man, I remember that like growing up and shit, like certain months were real tight. Like as the younger brother, I had to like wear my older brother's old clothes and shit. Yeah, I know what that's like, man. And I'm not fucking rich now. I'm not rich now. I'll get by kind of thing. So Nordic says he's still broke as a joke. I'm getting by, man. I'm getting by. He can beat him, Tommy. Yeah, he can beat Andrade, but I'd pick Andrade to win on points. But it's a winnable fight. It's one of those fights where if Andrade is not taking it serious, he could get found out. If Andrade's on his A game, he'll win that fight. In my opinion, he'll outbox Liam Williams. But it's a dangerous fight. It's risky. It's dangerous. Liam can punch, power in both hands as well. So that, yeah, exactly. Being a chav's a mentality, 100%, 100%. Because some of the hardest working people I know are people from my background, like working class, didn't have much growing up. In fact, most of the people I know are from that background, and most of these people are fucking hard working. So it's weird, Nordic. I was saying this the other day, man. When I was like 18, 19, when I was basically at college, just leaving college, I was doing super well, doing things I shouldn't be doing. So it makes you wonder, what's the point going fucking legit if you're not going to be better off for it? But there we go. I was a chav when I was growing up. Although having said that, was I really a chav? Because I never fucked over anybody who was like an innocent, put it that way. So I wasn't really a chav. I always had like respect for people, and I never fucked with like just innocent people, put it that way. But I guess you could say I was a chav, maybe. I don't know. She's all right, Jim Jones. She looks like a bit of a Karen, in my opinion. That Heidi, whatever her name is, Heidi Androl. She looks like a bit of a Karen. Max Kuckerman, Andrade's been around since 2008 and has done nothing. He's a bum. Yeah, he's been sticking around for ages, man, doing fuck all. He needs to get these big fights. Liam Williams is definitely a good fight for him at this stage. We'll find out a bit more about him. But after that fight, man, he needs to try and unify. I was never really a chav, but I did some really bad things. Yeah, we've all been there, man. We've all been there. I wouldn't call myself a chav, even when I was coming up. See, that's something else I'd love to talk about, like just stories growing up in like hanging around Luton and places like that. I've got some stories to tell, but it's one of those things where you could kind of incriminate yourself, so I'd probably leave it. Or I could easily get around that though. I could just change names and shit and say it's fucking. I could say it's just fucking for entertainment. Say it never happened. Just do a little disclaimer, but nah, DW. I've been working for the most part. I've never smashed up a bus stop. I've never, to be honest with you, I've never really committed. I've committed one bit of what you'd call criminal damage. So I was in this town near me. I'm not going to call a name a town, but it's like a small town. I was 15 and I was a proper cunt, but I walked past a river, yeah, and there's just me as well. But I had no peer pressure. It was just me, and I saw this fucking motorbike, like parked on the tree next to the river, and nobody was around. What do you think I did? I pushed that fucking bike in the river, like no reason whatsoever. So I was a little cunt when I was young. I'm not gonna lie. No, I've never worn baseball caps. I look like a fucking idiot, Mr. Relax. If I fucking wear a baseball cap. The bus stop is for Chav's natural habitat. Big up to Apology. Salute to you, sir. Yeah, Chav was more of an early 2000s thing. I don't know what the 2021 version is. Maybe County Lines hoodies on scooters. Yeah. Maybe, yeah. Probably right, the 90s. Probably right. Yeah, I see that, Mr. Pigeon. I see that. Yeah, Claude was Arsenal fan TV. Yeah, the old dude. Yeah, rest in peace. That guy was funny, man. Rest in peace. David Price versus Dillian White. Who wears the big coat better? You got to say David Price. You got to say David Price. He's the only cunt who's 6'9" and can still get a suit too small for him. That takes some fucking dedication, honestly. I vandalised the Blue Peter Garden. Yo, JDav, to me, that's community service, man. Anything to do with the BBC, and you destroyed it, I'm all for it. I'm all for it, JDav. So big up to JDav. Yeah, condolences to Claude and his family. Yeah. These fighters like Andrade have difficulty getting the big fights. Should be fighting at least 3 times a year against top 10 until fans are demanding they get the big fights. Exactly, Gerard. If I was an avoided, let's say I was a fighter and I was avoided, you do what Gennady Golovkin did in the early years on HBO. He was fighting like 4 times a year. Even if he was fighting sea-level guys, he was staying active and keeping his name out there. That's the best way to go about it, in my opinion. Totally agree. Totally agree. Oh yeah, Sonny Edwards, definitely a chav, yep. Yeah, chav's over Roman, yep. I guess Roadman is like the equivalent now of a chav. That's how they describe it now. Although chavs really were never on it. Like chavs were never really dealing and fucking doing shit like that. So chavs really were just like causing a ruckus for like the community and like smashing shit up and all that. At least roadmen are getting money, I guess. Dennis Wise and Les Ferdinand, both locals at the time, are rumoured to have vandalised the Blue Peter Garden. Oh dear. Yeah, Roadman definitely has higher status than Chavs, indeed, yeah. Yeah, fighters staying active these days is asking for too much, yep. 100%. That's what it seems like. That's another thing, Gerard. Yep, a lot of these guys, when they've got a money fight in their division, they'll sit around and they'll just hope that that guy calls them for a big fight. Instead of putting work in themselves, they'll just wait and sit by the fucking phone. 100%. What's the difference between a chav and a scouse? Christ. So a scouser is from Liverpool. Anybody from Scouser, anybody from Liverpool's a scouser, basically. But yeah, not all Scousers are chavs. Tony Bellew's still a chav. Dear. Yeah, I saw that MMA champ. They've linked up with Sauerland. Yeah. Do they actually own NFL? Because I heard they was like a management company. They look after certain NFL players, but they're a big company. So would I, Mr. Pigeon. I think I would as well. Yeah, lots of middle-class kids in London trying to sound like roadmen. Yep. I agree, Mr. Pigeon. A lot of Scousers are sound, honestly. Yeah, I agree. The 90s. Yep. I noticed that when I was young, like a lot of these like little middle class kids, they'll act like they're on it, but they're the first type who'd fucking grass you up or shit their pants at the first sign of trouble, kind of thing. They'll fuck certain things up, and for like the middle class kid, the middle class kids, sorry, it's more like they'll view it as a status symbol, living that sort of life. And again, I never done anything crazy. I was never like fucking pushing drugs or anything like that. But I've done some dumb shit in my time. Yeah, man. Something about stabbing somebody, MMA champ, that's so much worse than shooting somebody. It's so much more personal and a painful way to go, man. I'd rather get popped in the head than getting shanked a couple of times in the stomach. I could give a fuck less DW23, honestly. I really couldn't give a fuck. You know, it's funny laughing at those dudes, but ultimately, listen, they can do their thing. They can do their thing. I'm not really worried, man. See, I've never watched like a Fanon video in full. I've just seen clips of that guy on Twitter. I know who he is, but I couldn't subject myself to that sort of content. Too many people try and take this shit seriously. Like the videos I do, obviously, I'll fucking do those videos with like somewhat professionalism, or I'll try to at least. But the live streams, I'll just try and have a bit of fun, have a laugh, kind of thing. Life's too short to be fucking acting like I'm Adam Smith. Yeah, Eric Molina, man, he just finds the softest spot on the canvas, Max. I don't think he took a dive, but I do think he he fights for a payday. He'll do a couple of rounds, then he'll lie down. Basically, well, you could say that's a dive technically, but I don't think he's paid to take a dive. If that makes sense, I just don't think he's got any ambition. But he is a disgrace. Like he was having success in that fight as well, which made it even more annoying. Like he was winning rounds against Fabio Wardley. He hurt him. Fuck's sake. Yeah, he says, Nathan says, I don't even listen to interviews much now. Most of these boxers talk shite. Yeah, I agree. It's funny when people who live in upper class communities try to virtue signal about knife crime, laugh out loud. Yeah, indeed, man. Exactly, Tone. Yeah, Molina was well up for it until he got punched. Yep. He was doing quite well. Best UK trainer for me is Shane McGuigan. Shane McGuigan, yeah. Yeah, man, you can live stream it on my channel, no doubt about it. I would live stream it. The purse splits is I'll take 10% of the official purse and 50-40 to the winner. That's what I would say. I think that's fair. Yeah, he did. Zach Parker did look good. Yeah, funnily enough, Nordic actually, he always says like he rates Zach Parker, and he looked good in that fight. Zach Parker, he has got some skills. I'll be honest, Zach Parker, he's got some skills. I always think though there's something missing with Zach Parker, but we'll see. Pope's Common People sums up perfectly middle class co-opting working class habits. Yep. Oh, top rank ring girls are fucking immense, Jim Jones. I like the top rank ones, man. They got a bit of everything, some different flavors in there. If you catch my drift. See, I'm a man of the world. I like all sorts, man. I'm a man of the world. Did he actually say that, Uzziah? Molina said he lost ambition after losing to Wilder. Yeah, not surprised given how he's performed. The Nordic's gonna do me like that. Top rank ring girls look suspect to me. Yeah, he looked good against Vaughan Alexander, Nordic. Like Vaughan's a journeyman, but he never gets fucking stopped. And he got stopped in 2 rounds against Zach Parker. That's a good win. It's a good statement. Yeah, Tone, I think we saw in that fight, if he steps above Eric Molina level, he'll get cleaned out. So they need to hold him back a little bit. Drop back the level of matchmaking, fight the likes of a Nick Webb. And yeah, he needs some time. He needs a lot of time. Bob must suck the life force out of some of those ring girls in order to keep going, as well as for weed. Yeah, as well as for weed. Yeah, Bob Arum's got it good, man. He's got it good. Do you think he still gets fucking like pilled up and still plows those ring girls? I bet he does, man. It'd be rude not to, wouldn't it? Be rude not to. See, people said that fight was boring, Nathan. I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was quite a good little fight. Yeah, the Russian ring girls are quite nice, Nordic. They are quite nice, actually. Babbage versus Webb's going to be next, in my opinion. Yep, good fight. I'd watch it. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that's true. See, I thought that fight was a Stonewall robbery, but I always say, if Zach Parker wasn't injured, he'd have won that fight comfortably. But yeah, the fight itself was a robbery. But you're right. He dislocated his shoulder, I believe. Yeah, I like Eastern European women. Bump of K. I also like Hispanic women, not necessarily Mexican, but like Puerto Rican and that Dominican. They are fucking fire. Like Brazilians as well, man. Colombians. You serious? Jesus Christ. Might have to move to like fucking Brazil or something, or Colombia. I don't know. Puerto Rico. Yeah, I know who you're talking about, DW. Yeah, she is nice. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what happens with his Sky and Matchroom contract. Are Sky going to go to the zone? What I could see happening, JDav, is Sky go to the zone with their regular like Matchroom cards, but the pay-per-views still remain on Sky. I can see that happening. So like all the regular UK shows go to the zone, but all the pay-per-views stay on Sky. I can see that happening. And Sky then use guys like Al Siesta, Calla Sauerland to fill their regular shows. Yeah, I can see that. LT's been to Colombia. The women are gorgeous. Yeah, they look it, man. Fiery as well, man. Christ. Yeah, Russia's got some nice women. So does like Bulgaria, Estonia. That's true, Nordic. Yeah, that is true. That is true. There are gorgeous women everywhere. That's true. I guess a lot of it as well, like coming from the UK, like we're used to seeing UK girls kind of thing. Like to somebody else foreign, if they see a hot UK girl, they're gonna fucking think that even hotter because of the accent, because it's something a bit different. I guess that's true as well. You see something a bit different, and you automatically think it's hotter because it's not common kind of thing. That's true. That's very true. Like if I lived in Colombia for like 5 years, I'd probably get bored of Colombians as well, kind of thing. Are you from Toronto, Jim? Nice. Too many. Yeah, there's a lot of too many UK girls look like Wales. Yeah, I'm chatting to some fucking Polish bird at the minute. I fucking because of lockdown and shit. A lot of people are not going out. I'm still going out, but it's harder to fucking meet people. I've resorted to dating apps, so I'm talking to some fucking Polish girl in a minute, trying to get something out of that. So we'll see how it goes. If you move to Colombia, you would miss Shannon. Shit. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. I need to sort a couple of bits out. So, yeah, thank you guys for joining. If you could smash the like, though, that would be much appreciated. Always helps us out. But yeah, man, speak to you later. Peace.